Okay, so today we're going to talk about experimental design. The focus question is, how do we design an effective experiment? So first we must have a question that is testable. So we make an observation and then create a question from that, which is a testable question. And then from the testable question, we need a hypothesis, which is an educated guess or a prediction about the outcome of an experiment. Usually we use the format if the independent variable, then the dependent variable, because, and support it with evidence. The three different variables that we're going to talk about are the independent, the dependent, and the control variables. The independent variable is the variable in an experiment that we are manipulating. This is the one thing that we are changing in the experiment while all other things stay the same. For instance, if I was going to do a fertilizer experiment with my independent variable, it might be the amount or the type of fertilizer, but not both, that I'm using on the plants. The dependent variable is what is being affected by the independent variable. So for that same fertilizer experiment, my dependent variable might be plant height or root growth, which is dependent upon whatever your independent variable is. The control variable is all other variables that need to remain the same in the experiment. For instance, in the same fertilizer experiment, this might be water, sunlight, soil, and other things along that line. We also have something called a control group. Every experiment also needs to have a control group. This is the group that doesn't receive any treatment. It's used to compare the rest of the groups to in order to assess whether or not the treatment is actually working. So in that fertilizer experiment, I'd want to have one group that doesn't get any fertilizer at all and all other conditions remain the same to see if the fertilizer is actually affecting the root growth. Experiments all need to have a hypothesis, a control group, an independent variable, and a dependent variable. They have to have data, which is quantitative or with numbers, and they need a conclusion that then refers back to the hypothesis.